In this video, we get animated with our Windows desktop wallpaper on the move. Hello everyone, and welcome to TechFix Flicks. Windows desktop wallpaper is generally a static affair, with the short-lived exception of DreamScene, which was abandoned following its introduction with Windows Vista Ultimate. In this video, we reintroduce full motion backgrounds from an array of different sources to Windows 10 and 11. The free tool which makes this possible is Lively Wallpaper, which is incredibly straightforward both to install and use. Once installed, we can select from several, frequently customizable samples, or set any video file as our backdrop, including our own custom creations. Whilst the desktop version is also available as a standalone installer, the simplest installation is achieved via the Microsoft Store, accessible by clicking the Start menu and selecting the Microsoft Store tile, which opens the storefront, from where we click the search bar, opening it up and typing the search term Lively Wallpaper, before clicking the search result to visit its store page. Here, we simply click the large Get button and our download commences. At present, the size of the download is just over 224 megabytes, and this is largely justified by the sample wallpapers provided, and we see its progress clearly indicated before receiving confirmation that the app has been installed, along with a pop-up notification to the same effect. With the program now installed, we can click to launch. It will also be added to our account for optional installation on any other machines we may log into. We click Launch to begin the brief setup process at the welcome screen, where we click Next. We also close the Microsoft Store app, purely to focus on Lively Wallpaper. We now need to complete a few simple steps in the setup wizard, and click Next to proceed. The first option, to start with Windows, is toggled on by default, and we recommend leaving it in this position if you intend to make permanent use of dynamic wallpapers. Once the app is closed, our wallpaper will revert to the desktop default, and this will also be the case if Lively Wallpapers isn't run at startup. With our choice made, we once more click Next. Our next task is to select the Taskbar theme, which is set to off by default. Clicking the drop-down menu offers a further 5 options, which will determine how our taskbar interacts with the desktop wallpaper. This is best demonstrated by practical examples, and we'll show you how each of these options impacts upon the overall aesthetic later in the tutorial. For now, we select Clear, enabling us to fully see through the taskbar to our wallpaper. This has the advantage of letting us see the full image, but possibly at the expense of contrast, which helps us to see which apps are running. A further click on Next takes us to the completion screen, which reminds us that the app begins by being minimized to the system tray. In the event that it's hidden, you'll need to reveal it by clicking the upward pointing arrow to show hidden icons. We click OK to acknowledge the message, and we're taken to the main interface, where we immediately see 12 thumbnails depicting the pre-installed examples. We'll now put up a brief montage of all 12, with a brief commentary on each. Eternal Light is a picturesque render of waves at sunset, and our decision to use a fully clear taskbar is rewarded here, drawing us fully into the scene. Fluids v2 operates very differently, and we've left the mouse pointer visible here, as the fluid dynamics respond to our movement of the mouse cursor, creating unique patterns in response to its motion. Matric's Reintroducing presents the iconic imagery of the 1999 film, and we'll return to the theme of customization for this and several of the other wallpapers in a few moments. Medusae introduces us to a jellyfish, and much like Fluids, clicking and dragging repositions the jellyfish. We've again left our pointer visible for Parallax.js, where we see a changing perspective with the continued dragging of our mouse pointer. The periodic table wallpaper strikes us as being a fantastic subconscious study aid for anyone revising chemistry. Selecting group titles at the top of the table provides prominence to that particular group, whilst individual elements respond both to being hovered over and clicked upon. Rain v2 simulates the fall of rain over a background image, and again comes to life via its customization options. Ribbon has a true feeling of Windows wallpaper in animated form. Ripples, at first glance, appears to be problematic, as the central panel speaks to a missing API. Once correctly configured, this will provide localized weather information, in addition to the ripples following the pointer. We've reproduced instructions for obtaining the API in the written description accompanying this video. The hill places date and time information in the centre of a procedurally generated hill. With triangles and light, we again see responsiveness to pointer position, and again, there are customizable options. This is equally true of waves, the last of the default selection. Having seen the example wallpapers and the variety of potential interactions with them, we can expand our potential options through Customisation, and we'd advocate right-clicking on each of the wallpapers as several feature configuration changes which radically alter the outcome. Returning to Matrix Rain, we right-click and select Customise, enabling us to configure speed and change the font colour. Here we use the selector to change that to red, before opting for rainbow, and eventually restoring the default. Changing the wallpaper to ribbon, we can again click to customize, selecting the primary colour from the colour wheel and drastically changing the output. Manipulating the amplitude option reshapes the wave, and we can restore the default if necessary. Waves also offers a full palette of colour options, enabling us to match any wider desktop theme. Rain is highly customizable, with options to vary the intensity, speed and more. We can also entirely substitute the background image, with 4 options provided by default, selectable via the drop-down menu. As you might anticipate, you can also add your own image by selecting Browse before navigating to a file on your device. We select this photograph from Salford Keys and it's added to the drop-down menu, where we click to insert it as our backdrop. We can then tweak the remaining settings to best convey the view of some Manchester rain. Having customised a wallpaper, why not take this further by making our own, fully original backdrop? In File Explorer, we navigate to a video which we've previously prepared. We simply drag the video file and drop it into the Lively Wallpaper main interface. After a few moments of processing, we're invited to provide a title and description, as well as author and website information. We also opt to create a preview for ease of identification, and we can create a zip file to export and publish the wallpaper now, or later by right-clicking its preview. We click OK, and once processed, our wallpaper is added to the main menu and set as a backdrop. As this is a straightforward video file, our configuration options are fewer, but still incredibly useful for changing and improving saturation, contrast, gamma and speed. All videos are published with sound by default, so ticking mute will be necessary in most cases. With that, our background is set. We may well cover how we created our 3D logos in a future tutorial. Let us know if you'd like to see that. The key takeaway here is that any video file can be set as a desktop wallpaper simply by navigating to the Add Wallpaper function and browsing to a file of our choosing. You may like to experiment with what can be made into a wallpaper, from movie clips to captured gameplay footage and beyond. Indeed, we can source our wallpaper directly from the web, and here we enter the URL for our most recent YouTube video. Clicking on the rightward pointing arrow or pressing enter will set that video as our wallpaper. We can even set our YouTube homepage as the URL, and it too will play our latest video as wallpaper. A useful link to more wallpapers is provided in the main interface. Clicking it takes us to Reddit, where we can find additional wallpapers together with general help and further discussion. Below Add Wallpaper, we find a dedicated help section, with the top 3 links taking us to the Lively Wallpaper webpage, its GitHub page, and the online discussion forum, which returns us to Reddit. Be aware of the settings icons set separately in the lower left, with those settings divided into 6 sections containing many of the configuration options you may require. Here's a brief summary of the 6 taskbar options we mentioned during the installation. We've used Eternal Light as the wallpaper, and here we see the taskbar theme set to off, clear, blur, fluent, wallpaper, and wallpaper fluent. Whether you use one of the default themes, or modify one, or choose a video from the web or of your own creation, Lively Wallpapers will clearly elevate our wallpaper game to the next level. Check out our back catalogue of more than 100 tech tutorials, and be sure to subscribe to follow our future projects by clicking the logo shown on screen now. If you'd like to keep watching, there are links on screen to more videos you might find useful. If you can improve our methods, if you need assistance, or if you just want to discuss anything you've seen, get in touch via the comments. We love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you soon for your next tech fix.